Hello everyone. Today, I will tell you a story. The story is titled, The Cat and the Magic Chair. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. One lazy afternoon, Mittens, the mischievous gray tabby, was exploring the house, as usual. Her human, Sarah, had just moved in a new piece of furniture, a large, cozy-looking armchair that was placed right in the middle of the living room. Mittens was intrigued. She had seen a lot of chairs in her life, but none like this one. It was covered in soft, plush fabric, and it seemed to hum with an energy she couldn't quite explain. Mittens eyed the chair suspiciously. What is this? A throne for humans? She thought, arching her back and giving it a cautious sniff. It smelled like, well, fabric. But there was something else, something strange about it. She climbed up to the seat, her paws sinking slightly into the cushion. This was no ordinary chair. It felt like it was made just for her, soft but supportive, like it was encouraging her to settle in. She leapt up and curled into a ball, purring contentedly. She had no idea that the moment she sat on it, the chair would reveal its true nature. Just a quick nap, Mittens thought to herself. A little cat nap, and I'll be ready for my next adventure. As she settled in, the chair began to gently rock back and forth, as if it were alive, and the entire room seemed to soften. The hum she had felt earlier grew louder and more soothing, like a lullaby. Mittens closed her eyes and drifted into a deep sleep. Mittens woke up to an odd sensation. She wasn't in the living room anymore. In fact, she wasn't anywhere familiar. The chair, which she had been resting on so comfortably, was now floating in the air, drifting through a vast, starry sky. She looked around, her wide green eyes filled with confusion and excitement. This was unbelievable. Where am I? She wondered, her tail flicking in disbelief. The chair continued to float gently, as if guided by some unseen force, and Mittens realized it was taking her somewhere. But where? It was a strange sensation, like being on a cloud that wasn't quite solid, but was soft enough to make her feel at ease. Suddenly, the chair began to descend, gliding down toward a lush, green meadow full of flowers. As Mittens landed softly on the ground, the chair vanished, leaving her standing in the middle of this enchanting place. The meadow sparkled as if it were covered in tiny diamonds, and the air smelled of sweet flowers. She sniffed the air with delight. Okay, Mittens thought, this is definitely not my house, but I kind of like it. Before she could take another step, a group of rabbits hopped over to her. They were all wearing tiny hats, blue, red, and green, and they all looked at her curiously. Hello, little cat, said the largest rabbit in a very polite voice. Are you lost? Or are you here for the annual bunny parade? Mittens stared at him, a little stunned. The what? She asked. The bunny parade, the rabbit repeated excitedly. It's a grand event where we show off our finest hats and perform our best hops. It's only once a year, and we're very serious about it. Mittens blinked. You're telling me there's a parade for rabbits? Of course, the rabbit replied, nodding proudly. But don't worry, we've made room for a special guest. Would you like to join us? Mittens paused for a moment. Well, I do like hats, and parades sound fun. With that, Mittens was swept up into the excitement of the bunny parade, hopping along with the rabbits as they showed off their best skills. It was all very strange, but it was also very fun. Mittens couldn't help but giggle at how silly everything was, and she found herself leaping higher than she ever had before. As the parade wound down, Mittens realized she had no idea how to get back home. She had been so caught up in the fun that she hadn't thought about how to return. She was starting to feel a little homesick. After all, she missed her comfy bed and the smell of Sarah's cooking wafting from the kitchen. How do I get back? Mittens asked the rabbits, who were now enjoying some carrot cake by the side of the meadow. The largest rabbit smiled warmly. You need to find the chair again, dear cat. The chair that brought you here. It's the only way to return. Mittens felt a little panicked. She hadn't even noticed when the chair had disappeared. Was it still floating around somewhere? What if she couldn't find it? The rabbits seemed to sense her distress. Don't worry, Mittens. The chair will always find you when you need it. Just think of your home, and it will come to you. Mittens closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and thought about Sarah, her cozy living room, and the warm sunbeam that she loved to nap in. As soon as she thought of home, she felt the ground beneath her start to gently sway again. The chair reappeared in front of her, floating serenely in the air. "Time to go home," Mittens said with a smile. The chair gently rose, and within moments, Mittens found herself back in her living room, as if no time had passed at all. She looked around, feeling a little dizzy from her magical journey, but also strangely content. As she hopped back onto the chair, it gave a little hum of approval, and Mittens settled back in her favorite spot, curling up once again. "Maybe," she thought with a yawn, "I'll take another nap, but no more parades for now." And from that day on, Mittens knew that the chair was more than just a piece of furniture. It was her gateway to endless adventures. But for now, she was happy to just rest, her paws tucked neatly under her as she drifted off to sleep.